Impairment of assets, IAS 36, International Accounting Standard 36. Main point of this IAS 36 impairment. Carrying value less recoverable value is equal to impairment. Means if carrying value is higher than the recoverable amount, it will increase the value of balance sheet on asset side, and also increase the profitability in the profit and loss account. Impairment loss recognized in profit and loss account immediately as an expense. Number 3, recoverable amount is higher of fair value less cost to sell and its value in use. Recoverable value should be higher from two of them: fair value less cost to sell and value in use. Carrying value should not be reduced below to recoverable amount. Carrying value should not be reduced means if recoverable amount is 100 and carrying value is 120, we have to reduce the carrying value, means record the impairment of $20, not less than this, means we cannot enter this to $90. If not possible to determine fair value, then asset value is in use should consider recoverable amount. If there is no such method to calculate the fair value, then value in use means how much we can get by using the assets, we will use as recoverable amount. Assets should assess for the impairment at each balance sheet date, or there is some circumstances in which we have to we have to impair the assets, maybe change in the technology, maybe change in market situation, or globally such changes, or geographical changes. It's depend upon the nature of the changes. Indicators of impairments are internal and external, both can be, maybe internal in the organization and external out of the organization. Calculation of value in use. Future cash inflow and outflow should discount pre-tax rate should use to present value, means whatever is the cash inflow and outflow during using the assets should be discount to the present value, means future cash flow should be discount to present value. And which tax rate which discount rate we have to use? Pre-tax rate we have to use. Cash flow projection assumption should be maximum 5 years periods, means whatever is the projection, whatever our estimate should be, whatever our budgeted forecasted should be maximum 5 years, not more than 5 years. Impairment loss of cash generating unit. Allocate first reduce carrying value of goodwill, then carrying value of other assets on pro rata basis, means cash generating units. If we are going to impairment the cash generating unit, first we will charge the full impairment onto the goodwill, next other assets on pro rata basis. Reversal of impairment loss not for goodwill only apply there is change in estimates to determine recoverable amount. Reversal of impairment losses means in future we are going to reverse the impairment losses. This will not applicable to the goodwill not be reversal of impairment, not fall in this category. And other assets we can we can impairment loss we can do the reversal of impairment loss if the estimate of recoverable amount is predicted wrong, or there is changes in the estimates, or there is some changes in for the calculation of the recoverable amount. Impairment reversal should not increase historical depreciation cost, Means previously we have the depreciation, accumulated depreciation of $100. We cannot reverse the amount less than $100. Not means negative 100, negative 10, negative 5. No, we just calculate the historical cost of depreciation, and more than this we cannot impairment reversal. Issue in impairment testing: time consuming indicators, assessing or reassessing cash flows, discount rate determine, etc. It is impairment testing issues. Purchase goodwill should allocate to all cost generating unit. When we are acquiring, when we are merging, and then goodwill should allocate all cash generating unit, not to the single. Should test the consistency of goodwill before finalizing. Consistency should be in the goodwill. Objective of IAS 36 in detail: to ensure that the assets are carried at no more than their recoverable amount, and to define how recoverable amount is determined. What is the objective? To ensure carrying value not more than the recoverable amount. Carrying value should not be more than the recoverable amount. And this IAS 36 what define the recoverable amount, how to determine. IAS 36 applies to land, building, machinery and equipment, investment properties carried at cost, intangible assets, goodwill, investment in subsidiaries, associates and joint venture carried at cost, asset carried at revalued amount under IAS 38 and IAS 16. IAS 36 not applies. Inventories, IAS 2, assets arising from construction contracts, deferred tax assets, assets arising from employment benefits, financial assets, investment property carried at fair value, agricultural asset carried at fair value, insurance contract assets, non-current assets held for sale. Definition: impairment loss. What is the impairment loss? The amount by which the carrying amount of an asset or cash generating unit exceeds its recoverable amount. Means carrying value less recoverable amount is equal to impairment. Say impairment, carrying amount less recoverable amount. Carrying amount. What is the carrying value? The amount at which an asset is recognized in the balance sheet after deducting accumulated depreciation and accumulated impairment losses. Recoverable amount: the higher of an asset's fair value less cost of disposal, sometimes called net selling price, at its value in use. Identification of asset that may be impaired. At the end of each reporting period, an entity is required to assess whether there is an indication that an asset may be impaired. Its carrying amount may be higher than its recoverable amount. At any time, there is an indicator shows that the the carrying value is greater than the recoverable amount, then we have to impair the assets, but should assess on each reporting period. Has a list of external and internal indicators of impairment. We will discuss later which one is the external and internal indicator. If there is an indication that an asset may be impaired, then the asset's recoverable amount must be calculated. If we think that it should be impaired, if there is an indicator to impair, then we should have a proper method to calculate the recoverable amount of assets. Intangible assets with indefinite useful life and intangible assets not yet for use, annual impairment test should perform even there is no indicator. If there is no indicator, we have to perform the indefinite useful life and intangible assets annual impairment. Goodwill acquired in business combination should be annually impaired. Whatever is the goodwill in business combinations, like acquisition or a merger, we have to impair on annual basis. Indication of impairment: external sources, market value decline in markets, negative changes in technology, market economy, or laws changes, technology changes, means computer came, and before the accounting system was on manual, and now technology came. Insurance in market interest rate, increase in market interest rate, net assets of the company higher than market capitalization. These are the external indicators. Internal sources: obsolescence or physical damages of the assets. Asset is idle, part of restructuring, or held for disposal. Worse economic performance than expected. Expected performance was that it will inflow of $100, but it's less than the inflow of is $90. Then less than $100. Then we have to. It's the internal source of internal indicator. For investment in subsidiaries, joint venture, or associates, the carrying amount is higher than the carrying amount of the investee assets, or a dividend exceed the total comprehensive income of the investee. These are the acquisition or business combinations, subsidiaries or joint venture. We are recorded in our books, their value is higher, but when we are reviewing the perspective of this the subsidiaries or joint ventures books of accounts is lower, or dividend we recorded is high, but in their perspective is less. Determining recoverable amount: if fair value less cost of disposal or value in use is more than carrying amount, it is not necessary to calculate the impairment. We will not calculate the impairment if fair value less cost of disposal or value in use is higher than the carrying value. If fair value less cost of disposal cannot be determined, then recoverable amount is value in use. We discussed before. For asset to be disposed of, recoverable amount in the fair value less cost of disposal. Recoverable amount is fair value less cost of disposal. This is the asset disposal cost. Recoverable amount is higher of fair value. Fair value will calculate IFRS 13, less cost of sale, and value in use. Value in use. What is the value in use? Present value of future cash flows expected to be derived from assets or cash generating unit. Means we are using one assets, and in future we will receive or pay some cash flows which is generated from the particular assets. Determine estimates of future cash flows. Consider variation. When we are determining the cash flows, consider the variation in timing, etc. Time value of money, discounting onto the present value. Should consider uncertainty and other factors. Future cash flows consider both inflows and outflows, not just the inflows, both inflows and outflows. Cash flows from continuing use. Necessary and directly attributable or allocated cash inflow or outflows. Attributable, direct cost inflows, cash inflows. Net cash flow from disposal, at the end of the disposal. Not include in future cash flows. Not include future restructuring of if not yet committed, not yet, before we don't know. And improving or enhancing performance of asset, means some capitalization of the assets. Inflow of financing activities, and income taxes should not include the cash flows. Discount rate: pre-tax rate discount should be used that reflect current market assessment of time value of money, risk specific to assets, rate should use market rate, or when no market rate, then use weighted average cost of capital of the company, incremental borrowing rate of the company, other market borrowing rate. Recognition of an impairment loss. An impairment loss is recognized when recoverable amount is below carrying amount. The impairment loss is recognized as an expense if using cost model. If we are using cost model, then debit the impairment loss profit and loss account, credit the assets adjustment, means we have to reduce the asset value. Revaluation model. If we are using the revaluation model, debit the revaluation surplus, means the changes in the revaluation in the other comprehensive income, credit the assets, reduce the value of assets. Revaluation surplus is arises when before we increase the value of assets at the time of revaluation. If no revaluation previously, then debit the impairment loss, credit the assets. Adjustment depreciation for future period for new carrying value. Means if carrying value is increased, then or reduced, depreciation will be on the base of the previous new carrying value. On the base of the new carrying value, we have to calculate the depreciation. Cash generating unit. What is the cash generating unit? If it is not possible to determine the recoverable amount for the individual assets, what we will use, then determine recoverable amount of for the assets cash generating unit by combining some group of assets. Then we are using this cash generating unit is the some combining unit. The cash, what is the cash generating unit? Is the smallest identifiable group of assets that generate cash inflows that are largely independent of the cash inflow from other assets or group of assets. Means it's the smallest group of the identifiable assets who is generating cash inflows. Large, they are independent, means not depend on the other assets. This group generates separate. Any impairment loss calculated for the cash generating unit should be allocated to reduce the carrying amount of the asset in the following order. First, test annually or when an indicator for impairment arises. Number 1, the carrying amount of goodwill should be first reduced than the carrying amount of the other asset. First we have to reduce the carrying value of the goodwill, and then if remaining amount is left, then on the other assets we will use on pro rata basis, which is determined by the relative carrying value of the each assets. Then any reduction in the carrying amount of the individual assets should be treated as impairment losses. The carrying amount of any individual asset should not be reduced below the highest of the fair value less cost to sell, its value in use, and 0. We cannot reduce the impairment. Number 1, fair value less cost to sell, its value in use are 0. We cannot reduce below that. If this rule is applied, then impairment loss not allocated to the individual asset will be allocated on the pro rata basis to the other assets of the group. Reversal of an impairment loss. Same approach as for the identification of impairment asset. Assess at each balance sheet date whether there is an indication that impairment loss may have decreased. If so, calculate the recoverable amount. Impairment losses if reduced, then decreases, then we have to calculate the new recoverable amount. No reversal for the unwinding of discount. The increased carrying amount due to reversal should not be more than that depreciation historical cost would have been if the impairment had not been recognized. We have discussed already. The reversal of an impairment loss is recognized in the profit or loss unless it is related to the revalued amount. Record in reversal like profit and loss account if it's under revaluation model, then we have to reduce the OCI, other comprehensive income, as surplus or equity. Adjust depreciation for future period on the basis of the carrying value, new carrying value. Reversal of an impairment loss of our goodwill is prohibited. It's not applied to the goodwill. Disclosure: impairment losses recognized in the profit and loss account. Impairment losses reversed in profit or loss account. Impairment losses on revalued assets recognized in other comprehensive income we discussed. Impairment losses on revalued assets reversed in other comprehensive income. Other disclosures: if an individual impairment loss reversal is material, then disclosed event and circumstances resulting in impairment loss, amount of the loss or reversal. Individual assets, nature and segment to which it relate, cash generating unit, depreciation, amount of the impairment loss reversal by class of assets and segments. If recoverable amount has been determined on the basis of the value in use or on the basis of fair value less cost of disposal using a present value techniques, disclose the discount rate. Number one, what we have to do: reversal. uh, Circumstances in which impairment arises, like uh, indicators, external or internal indicator, we have to disclose in our books of the accounts. And if the individual asset, natures and segments for which we have to apply this impairment, cash generating units, and discount rate, what discount rate, which discount rate we have used to inflow or outflow of future cash flows to bring them on the present value. Thank you.